makes any sense here, and that should be the Bills' draft, is Lawson.
Of course the Bills need Von Miller, so we're on the same page on that.
Buffalo Bills, they will go with Riley Reef.
The Bills, even though Geno Smith's available, passing him up and getting Matt Barkley, who I believe is the best quarterback in this draft.
I have Jake Matthews sliding to the Bills at number 9.
At the end, we're going to pick Taylor Lewis.
In my draft, I have hope against hope. Other GMs believing that Manziel is also a clown, and he drops to 9, and we get him.
I have Shaq Lawson going from Clemson. He's just got that motor. All he does is run, and all he does is want to play and hit.
The Buffalo Bills select Shaq Lawson.
Yes!
Defensive end.
We did it!
And welcome back to another edition of Buffalo Bills pregame. This is the 2016 draft review. And Jared, I am so glad to have you on this side of the camera today for 2 reasons. First of all, of any of us in the Buffalo Bills pregame family, you really like the nitty-gritty of the draft.
Absolutely.
And so having you here for the review is great. And second, I get to break the news to you on camera that this will be our last show from Studio D, that I've put an offer on a house that's accepted.
Oh.
And we're going to be moving in the next couple months.
Okay, so Studio E.
E.
All right.
Stay tuned.
Looking forward to it.
And we cannot go any further without mentioning that in all 7 years that we've done draft reviews, this year we've had remarkable accuracy in draft predictions.
Mm-hmm.
High five.
We did it.
We did it! I don't know if you've had trouble in your fandom of becoming fans of other teams. It's always been difficult for me. Like, how do I just pick someone else to root for? But I think this year the Oakland Raiders have got me.
Except for the week we play them.
Except for the, well, of course I'll choose the Bills over them,
Yeah.
but they're going to be my second team this year, and because of the general manager, Reggie McKenzie, they've got a franchise quarterback on hand. They have a highly touted backup quarterback in Mac McGloin, but still they traded up to get Connor Cook when it would seem that they have a depth chart full of quarterbacks. And I am fascinated. I don't know if the quarterback position in Oakland is valued so much that they feel that they need 3 quarterbacks to come in coast of injuries, or if they say, look at quarterback as a desired position in this league, and having one that has potential but has not proven to suck yet is trade bait. Look at the Bills with Rob Johnson. It's the same scenario.
Right.
Unproven quarterback, we're going to pay him all this money in hopes that he reaches that potential, and Oakland stockpiling these things. Do you think that this is the wave of the future in the NFL? Is Oakland ahead of a trend, or do you think this is something that, based on their past decade experience, is going to blow up in their face?
I think, well, first of all, I think karma has to come into play. They were the laughingstock of the draft for a long time, and I think the last 2 years they've done pretty well. I'm not as much on the Raiders bandwagon as the average person. I feel that, just last year they were picking 4th overall, and they beat the Bills, and they were 2-12 at the time when they did that, or something along those lines. So they still have a couple of years left to go. Maybe this year they might take the division because everybody else is not looking so good, though I'm guessing Kansas City will win. But I think they're up and coming, but I'm not willing to...
So that means Denver's in 3rd in the division?
Sanchez.
All right. That's a big drop-off from Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry to stop the train of thought.
No,
I was shocked
absolutely.
that
No, you're
Kansas
good.
City and Oakland over Denver.
Yeah, maybe 4th.
Maybe 4th? Wow.
Chargers.
Look out, Denver fans.
Yeah.
Severe disappointment. The likes of which hasn't been seen since Oakland lost the Super Bowl and hasn't been good since.
Right.
Also, in trading up for a position player, Tampa Bay moves into the 2nd round to pick what we thought was a surefire pick for the Bills out of Florida State, Roberto Aguayo. The Bills have a big question mark at kicker. Carpenter has proven to be less than trustworthy, and there are times during the season that we had discussed that Rex Ryan might be fed up with him, that we might be getting a new kicker mid-round or mid-season.
Yeah.
We picked up Carpenter as a free agent. He'd been sitting on his couch.
Right.
The Bills don't seem to value the position enough that they're investing in assets, like in draft picks.
Right.
But then again, the position has caused us some pain. Do you think that the Bills should put more focus on a kicker position and get someone in here, or based on draft history, is drafting a kicker not even necessarily the best?
Here's the reality. We did invest in kicker 2 times. We drafted John Potter. We drafted Dustin Hopkins, and John Potter was just cut. Now he's kicking for. I think I'm not sure which team he's kicking for. I'm sorry. But then Dustin Hopkins, same thing. He came in. He got hurt. Then Carpenter came in to good. We cut Hopkins. Now Hopkins kicking for somebody else and doing pretty well. So the problem is we've tried it. We've actually done it. The luck would have it just didn't work out. So unfortunately, we're just kind of looking for a better free agent kicker. I don't know if he exists.
It would be nice having one kicker and not having to take up 2.
I don't think we're going to have
roster spots,
Gay.
kickoff specialists.
We're not going to have Gay on the team this year because
Unless Gay's learned how to kick a field goal.
Yeah, but the problem is because we don't need a kickoff specialist because of how they changed the.
The move of the lineup.
Yeah.
All right. Well, focusing on the Bills as we will do here at Buffalo Bills pregame, they have finished their draft defensive heavy, especially in the early rounds. An argument could be made that had the defense performed up to expectations, that we would have done much, much better last year, playoffs maybe even. And obviously, management feels the same way because they drafted heavily. You like the defensive picks?
Absolutely. I mean, we had 3 needs going into the draft. We needed a D end to replace Mario. We needed a linebacker to replace Nigel Bradham, and we have to look at the future of Kyle Williams because he's getting older. And 1, 2, 3, we hit him.
And filled the existing needs and upcoming needs. And it would seem with good value players that we're expected to go or have the ability, talent level to go at a much higher round. So it makes you wonder, are the Bills getting lucky in these picks? Are they seeing things that other teams are not? Or is everyone else seeing things that we're overlooking?
Honestly, I think we're just being smart. I mean, we're looking at what we have and we're picking what we need, and we've had so many years where that just didn't happen. You can make the argument for BPA and people just having different opinions on BPA, but when the BPA happens to fall in line with what you need, it can't get any sweeter than that.
All right, good time to be Bills fans. With the first overall pick, out of Clemson, another ACC school. I don't know why we're obsessed with these basketball conferences, but we get Shaq Lawson, defensive end, linebacker, hybrid perhaps, in Rex Ryan's system. Coachable for a strong coach like Ryan. What do you think?
I mean, I'm extremely pleased with the pick. There was no way we could have drafted Ragland then and gotten Shaq Lawson later, so the Bills did the absolute right thing. There's nobody else at 19 I could have saw us getting that I would have wanted more. I think we're going to keep him at DN because I don't see us doing the 3-4 exactly. I don't see Marcel Darius as a nose tackle. It's possible, but I feel like he could be utilized a little bit differently. My only concern with Shaq is he seems to tire a little easy, and you wonder sometimes a little bit about how much he's willing to put into what he does. He just seems to be like kind of a yes man a little bit too much, and it's kind of like, okay, like you can say that all you want, like I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but you got to show it a little bit more. But what I like, that was kind of the negative, but what I like is I'm not a college football person, but I knew who Shaq Lawson was before I even touched a draft analysis of any kind.
He was in the national championship game.
Not
does help.
Absolutely, but like out of all the Clemson players, the one I could have named was probably Shaq Lawson.
Nice. You mentioned Ragland for the draft preview. You had told us that you were hoping to get him in the first round, so you must be excited to have him pick him up in the second.
Well, that was Justin actually.
Yeah,
Justin did. I think I said Jaron Reed, so I was way off on that myself. But no, I mean that was brilliant. I mean I don't know why he slipped. Because basically he's a good pass rusher, so we got another good pass rusher. He's great against the run as well. His only issue is pass coverage. The only thing I could see was that he looked smaller, even in college, which kind of worries me. And I'm guessing that's what worried the NFL teams. But he's intelligent. He ran the Alabama defense. I've heard Ray Lewis comparisons in terms of his intelligence. And last year we had Manny Lawson running the defense, and we had to basically sit Preston Brown with regard to running the actual thing, which kind of makes me question the future of Preston Brown, which is sad because I thought he really knew his stuff, but I guess I was incorrect on that one, or maybe he just doesn't understand Rex Ryan's stuff. But either way, I'm thinking it'll add a little bit more intelligence to our defensive backfield.
And playing in Alabama, he was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, that's a big boy
absolutely.
conference. You're not playing against future salesmen, and insurance salesmen there.
Right.
Like he's playing against real competition. So I'm excited at that pick at number 2. And number 3, another defensive player, Adolphus Washington out of Ohio State.
Yeah.
Another national championship winner.
Yeah, he's interesting because he's been described as a defensive end that basically plays defensive tackle. So there's not too many defensive tackles out there that are known for their pass rushing, and this guy is, and that's kind of what we want. Kind of the opposite of Ragland. He's known for being good against the pass, but he's not known for being good against the run. So
when their powers combine,
then they become Captain Planet. But I think he could be good as a nickel tackle. Like when we put out our nickel package, like he'd be somebody to put in, or even a third down, which is perfect. You put him down in third downs, get the quarterback. Obviously not your third downs where 3rd and 1, they're going to run. But you put him in that nickel package, and I think he can do quite a bit of damage when you have all these rushers coming at you.
And the 4th pick, first offensive pick of the draft, the Bills add another very athletic quarterback to the stable. With the loss to Jacksonville last year, pretty much in the hands of E.J. Manuel, there was a lot of talk about what quarterback the Bills would try to pick up, whether it be through free agency, trade, or the draft. And they go with Cardale Jones in the 4th round out of Ohio State.
I mean, obviously, as I'm sure everybody here has already seen our preview show, we mentioned, hey, that might be a good idea because he complements what Tyrod and EJ already bring to the field. Not that EJ really brings much. But I'm very divided on this because I know he won the national championship, and I feel like, and he's never lost in college when he started. But the reality is, he took a dive last season. He won all his games, but they kind of won despite of him. He was eventually benched. He only threw 8 touchdowns. His completion percentage was extremely low, and he's been described as a raw talent. So sadly, you're kind of like, well, can he even beat out EJ for the backup role? I'm hoping so. I mean, my thought is he was a 3rd stringer. He has a way of getting through the grapevine, though, because, he was a 3rd stringer in college, and he managed to get his way up there and win. So you're kind of hoping that's what he can do. He's not our future starter in any imagination. He's somebody who can come in the pinch and hopefully bring us to a victory.
Hopefully have the natural athletic ability to pull it out. And hopefully with his size, he won't be as much of an injury risk.
Yeah. The one thing he did lose in college was one of his coaches. He went down to, I think, Houston, and that really hurt his game. So I'm thinking,
and did really well in Houston.
It
would seem that he was a pretty solid coach for Ohio State based on Houston's performance improvement this past year.
I'm hoping that with Roman, he might be able to get a little bit better because of the coaching that the NFL provides.
2 years in a row with the 5th pick, the Bills pick up a running back. I mean, we clearly have LeSean McCoy as our starter. Karlos Williams has been promising. I guess that you could say there's concussion concern, injury concerns. But we invest in the running back position. Jonathan Williams out of Arkansas.
Honestly, I'm very happy with this pick because, as I was saying to you before we started, LeSean McCoy, there's still kind of a question mark around him now, unfortunately. I mean, he had the off-season issues. Last year, I know he got hurt right after the Philly game, but it's just the way he acted at the Philly game just seemed like he didn't care anymore. He's going out kissing the eagle. We don't need to see that. I'm sorry. I know you're Philly born and everything, but either be here or don't. Obviously, he's a great talent. I think he'll be good this year. But it's nice to have that insurance. You know what I'm saying? It's nice to have somebody come in that looks like a decent runner. He was hurt last year, though. But I still had him 7th on my board, and we got him in the 5th, so he's definitely a steal in the draft. You don't know if he's going to be the next Johnny White or the next Karlos Williams. Ironically, his name kind of combines those two, so maybe he'll be somewhere in the middle. I don't know.
Do you see him being on the Bills in 4 years?
Oh, good question.
Just with the running back.
Honestly, no. No, sadly, no. Now that you put it like that, no. Running backs, boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Kolby Listenbee out of TCU in the 6th round, another supreme athlete, adding speed to the wide receiver position. You think mostly special teams player?
I do, because he's very fast. He has a 4.39 40, and he's a good route runner. He knows how to make his cuts. And that's all fine and dandy, but there's one thing about receivers that you need to be able to do, and that's catching the ball. And that's kind of his problem. So you want to throw him out there as a decoy all you want, that's great. But the bigger question, though, is who's going to be the next Hogan? Like, who is our third receiver? Because, we obviously got Watkins, we got Woods. Is Goodwin finally going to step up and do something? Is Des Lewis? Is it going to be Listenbee? Who knows?
You have no hopes of Percy Harvin coming back?
He already said he's going to retire,
Okay.
so I'm going to go with no.
And it is nice. The draft provides the ability to fantasize about potential futures, but
Fantasize about Harvin coming out of retirement.
Cardale Jones, a quarterback, can throw the ball 70 yards in the air.
Yeah.
And Kolby Listenbee, a track star on the 100-meter dash. I mean, you just have fantasies of
Right.
us sitting on the 20-yard line and throwing a bomb,
Oh, absolutely.
to the
That'd be
5,
wonderful. Yeah.
And with our last pick in the 6th round and the draft this year, we pick up another defensive player, Kevon Seymour out of USC.
Yeah, any extra backup or our defensive back is good. I don't have too much to say about this guy. We didn't pick a safety, so I'm kind of hoping he could kind of do what Corey Graham did and transition to the safety role if need be. Not necessarily like he has to do it, but you don't know how Aaron Williams is going to be, and Duke Williams has never really impressed me that much. So it's good to get some extra, blood back there. But other than that, it's going to be special teams.
Another special teams player. Undrafted free agents. We picked up a quarterback from UB, throwing UB a bone, helped them with their recruiting. Our quarterbacks get not drafted and signed, and we signed Little Gronk.
All right.
I know you're a big fan of the family.
Yeah. I could care less about Little Gronk. I mean, Big Gronk, as people call him. He decided to leave Williamsville North before his senior year, so yeah, he sure loves Buffalo. So I could care less about the Gronk pick. The UB pick, honestly, with that, I was wrong about Tyrod last year because we barely even talked about Tyrod last year, and look where that happened. So I guess my bigger thing, is you never know, but you kind of know.
All right, not draft related specifically, but there's been big news, at least for us Bills fans, that we haven't had a chance to talk about yet, and that is the fine judicial system of the United States taking Brady away for the game for Week 4 against the Bills. Describe your mood.
Well, I like the justice system. I mean, they're a very just system. They look at everything and they're like, oh, did you cheat or did you not cheat? Oh, you cheated. So we're just going to live up to it. I mean, mainly the judicial system, on a serious note, just review, does the CBA have the power to do it or not? And, I mean, let's see. I mean, most people don't have the ability to negotiate what they get with their bosses too much, unless you're in some sort of a union. But yeah, you go by your union contracts. That's life. That's what you wanted, so there you got it. So, I mean, I always thought the penalty was harsh, but you know what? I mean, I've also said that one day, 10 years from now, we're going to figure out what the Patriots were up to the entire time, like after everybody's retired.
Oh, there's going to be some scathing.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be something. So I think there's more to it. Like, stay tuned, America. We'll find out some more stuff.
Oh, I think Ryan Reynolds will play Tom Brady in the movie.
Some whiny actor, I don't know, maybe Tobey Maguire.
All right, well, that wraps up the draft review. Thank you so much for tuning in Buffalo Bills pregame. We will at the very least be back when we Bills play Los Angeles this year. Never covered a Los Angeles team here at Bills pregame. So maybe before then, likely before then, but at very least, don't go too far. It's Buffalo Bills pregame signing off.